Hello YouTube, Cryogenics here. On today's challenge, let's find out if Weedle can beat Pokemon Red and Blue. Now, on my last challenge, you saw me attempt to take down Pokemon Yellow with just a Caterpie, and I also made some changes to my Metapod challenge, so go and check those two out. Okay, so I just want to say a quick thank you to the 91 subscribers I have. I'm close to my 100 goal, so if you're new, hit the subscribe button, help me reach that. And I want to say thank you to all the people watching the video, and also there is a Gen 2 challenge on the way, which I expect to be a good one. Thank you for all the comments as well. I read them and I reply, and honestly, you help me out so much with the channel and giving me ideas. So thank you and keep them coming. Okay, so the rules for this challenge are really simple. It's only Weedle in battle, and there are no HM Pokemon to be used in battle. Now, here are the base stats for Weedle. Give it a pause if you want to read, and the moves as well, which are basically the same as Caterpie's, but with Poison Sting only having a 15 base power. And we first head to Viridian Forest to find ourselves a Weedle, which takes a few Pokeballs before we actually catch it. And then we have to do the grinding of the training before heading over to our rival on Route 22 for the first time, with the slogan being anyone past the Pidgeot, which I thought was pretty clever at the time. Anyway, Pidgey is going to go down quite easy as we've got a few levels on him. Where to the Caterpie we needed, well, I trained up to level 17 with the Caterpie, and that was a little bit overpowered, but that was because of the rock battle, where I decided to go a little bit earlier this time with the Weedle. But also, Poison Sting doesn't actually hit that much damage, as it only seems to hit a third of the damage on tackle to the Caterpie. It can actually be a bit of an issue, so I found that maybe I'll have to use Struggle more than Poison Sting. I was thinking and considering doing a Poison Sting only challenge, but it just doesn't hit enough, and it would be mind numbing. So even here, if I was just to use Poison Sting, I would probably have to be like level 30, 35, and even then I'm not sure if you would be able to do Brock at that level either, and I wasn't going to test that out with the amount of training it would take to do. So we're just going to have to use Struggle as it hits a bit more damage, and we'll just go and use items as well, as to be honest, just using Weedle alone is a challenge itself, and to make it any harder than that would just be insane, you know. And if someone wants to do that, they can. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use Weedle and use the Struggle technique. So we get to his Onix, and we just obviously keep using Struggle. So when he hits us with the Unleashed Bide, it does hit some good damage against us, but we've got plenty of potions this time, as I've learned from past mistakes to bring potions, plenty of them as well, just in case something goes wrong. Anyway, so as we are slowly whittling down the Onix's health, I'm glad that Brock doesn't use any potions himself, as that could be an absolute nightmare. But eventually, when we get our struggles in, we take him down and we earn our first badge, which goes quite well. After, we're going to move to Mount Moon to face the Super Nerd that's blocking the path and not letting us get the fossils yet. So he disables our Poison Sting, which at first I was thinking, what am I going to do here? And I remembered that we have String Shots. So we just have to use String Shots until we are undisabled with the poison. And then his disabled poisons are String Shot, which is fine. So we can go back to using Poison Sting, which even at level 26, because Poison Sting's so rubbish, especially against a Grimer being poison, it doesn't actually do that much damage. But for Voltorb, luckily Poison can do a bit more, and we do get a critical that helps us along. So that goes down quite easy. But the same issue as Grimer we're going to have with Coffin, but luckily it doesn't have disabled, and also we won't get poisoned ourselves, as I think we're immune to poison. So we can just keep using Poison Sting, eventually whittling the health down, and then we do take down the Super Nerd and pick whatever fossil we do. We then head over to Route 24 to face our rival again after a little bit of training. Not much training by the looks of it, as we're still the same level as 26. But anyway, we use a Poison Sting on our Pidgeotto, which does make it poisoned, which is good. But as you can see, the Pidgeotto is still doing a lot of damage to us. So we're going to have to heal up midway with the potions, as it just seems to be doing quite a bit of damage. Luckily, Poison was whittling its health down. Now for Abra here, which again, we can just take down with 2 Poison Stings. So there's not too much issue there. We get a level up, which is always good. Rattata comes out, and we go for 3 Poison Stings to take that down. And now for his final Pokemon, Squirtle, which hits us with Water Gun. We're left with 3 HP, so we heal up, and then we go for a few more Poison Stings. But we're going to have to heal up again, as we're worried about a critical taking us out. Eventually, after using 7 Poison Stings, we take him down. So we then head to Sterling City's gym leader, Misty. We head there at level 30 first, but we get absolutely obliterated by Bubble Beam. So we go and head down, do some training on the other routes, go close to the SSN I believe as well, get to level 35 and decide to go back to Misty for the attempt again. We take down Staryu quite easily without losing much health. We get a critical with Poison Sting first, which is good, and then we also get it poisoned on the next one, which is also good. We get another critical and then we're just whittling the health down and we take her down and we earn our second badge. So then we can head straight to the SSN as we've pretty much cleared a lot of it and go to our rival, where we are now level 36, so we have a few more levels on it. As we use Poison Sting on Pidgeot, and it's not using any sand attacks, which is good, and it's not hitting that heavy damage now as well, as we've gained a bit of defense. Raticate comes out, which goes down at about 3 Poison Stings, as it gets a few moves on us, and we're left with 22 health and a level up with that. So we heal up with a super potion as it's going to be needed, as I thought maybe Kadabra would use Confusion to heavy damage, but just decides to try and run away from the battle the entire time, don't know why. Anyway, War Turtle comes out and we go for a few Poison Stings on that, get a poison and eventually take it down with a few Poison Stings. So I do try and use Poison Sting more than Struggle, as you know, you want to save money and also you want to make it a little bit more challenging at times. So we go over to Vermilion City's Lieutenant Surge after this and we go for his Voltorb and a few Poison Stings will take that out eventually. He'll then bring out his Pikachu, which again will go down in 2 Poison Stings. Now Pikachu could have used Thunder Wave or something like that to be annoying, but decided not to, so that's okay with me. Raichu hits us with a Thunder Shock, then a Thunderbolt. If he used Thunderbolts and got criticals, I reckon that probably would have nearly taken us out, but luckily he decides to use Thunder Shock more, so we can just take him out with the Poison Sting, and we earn our 3rd badge. Then we go straight to Lavender Tower, which I missed a bit of the clip, and it heads straight to the rival's Pidgeotto, but anyway, you know by now, by watching my challenges, what that part looks like. Anyway, we take Pidgeotto down, and then comes out Growlithe, which we take down as well, with Poison Sting, as we're left with 28 HP. We're going to go for healing up soon, but I wanted to see how much damage a Poison Sting would do to execute, which is pretty good, but then we get put to sleep, so I think now's the time to heal up. And then Barrage hits us for some really little damage, so not too worried there. We wake up, and we take it down with Poison Sting. Kadabra comes down, which we take down with a critical Poison Sting, and now for War Turtle again, which will get a critical, which is good. A second one doesn't poison it. A third one, again, I thought it was going to poison it. At the end, we poison it, which is no good really, because we're going to take it down. That's the end of East Side. So, then we can head over straight to Erica in Seldon City. And she's probably going to be one of the easier gym leaders, being Grass, and I'm pretty sure Poison is super effective against Grass. Also, we have a couple of X attacks up now, so we can boost up the Poison Stings. So as we get trapped with Wrap, which again, I'm not too bothered by the trap of Wrap anymore, especially when you get to use items, because you can heal up. That's mainly an issue when you're doing a no item challenge, as it's really frustrating. So anyway, eventually as we do break out of the Wrap, we get our final Poison Sting in to take down the Victory Bell. Now for Tangler, we get a good hit on that, and a second Poison Sting takes it down. Now for Vileplume, we go for another Poison Sting, doing good damage. Mega Drain doesn't do anything, and we eventually will take it out after we got put asleep. So we just kind of have to keep spamming. So I don't think I bought any Awakens, which would have been good, but I didn't. So we're just going to have to keep going. And then eventually we wake up, we get our Poison Sting in, and we've earned our 4th badge. Okay, time for Giovanni in the Team Rocket's hideout. And he brings out his Onix. So I think I went for Poison Stings. For some reason, I really think I should have gone for Struggles, as it would have made the battle easier, but we're going to bump up some defenses and bump up some attacks as well, as it's good to test out that against an Onix for the Bruno fight later on in the Elite Four, if we can make it to there, which if I can't, then I obviously am really bad at the game. Anyway, we bump up our stats and then we go for the barrage of Poison Stings, hoping for a poison, which it doesn't seem to, and then eventually does. And that will speed along this as well. Luckily, Rock Throw isn't hitting that much damage against us, probably because we have a few more levels up and we have our defenses in. So eventually we take down his Onix, and we're going to have a similar problem with Rhyhorn, as it's also Rock type and Poison just is not good against that. So luckily we are hitting a bit heavier with having the boosts up. Eventually we will take it down with the Poison Stings. This would have been much faster if I was using Struggle, I can believe. We get poison towards the end, which is great, you know, it's going to help us at the end. Now for Kangaskhan, which again, we get a critical, a second critical, which was pretty lucky. A third one not being critical, hitting more than critical, don't know why. And a 4th one taking Giovanni down. Then we can move straight over to the Black Belt in Saffron City. Hitmonlee comes out and we poison it almost straight away. A second Poison Sting does some good damage. This is also good just to see how much we can do with Poison Sting, and it helps us out later on in our later battles. So eventually we take down Hitmonlee, and Hitmonchan will go down in the same fashion, I can believe, as he uses agility because that seems to be what he thinks is the best. Hits us with a Comet Punch, but we will take him out with a poison. Okay, so let's head over to Fuchsia City to go and face Koga. So he brings out his coffin, and we've gone for struggles this time because Poison Stings just don't hit enough damage. Because I tried it with Poison Stings, but as you can see, he likes to use Smoke Screen, which is really annoying. Once he gets 4 Smoke Screens on us, we stop hitting him basically. And with Poison Sting hitting way under half damage compared to Struggle, it's just worth using Struggle. So eventually we take down Coffin quite easily. Muck comes in, uses Minimize, which is also annoying because we've also got those Smoke Screens on, but we take that out as well. The second Coffin's out, so we go for a full Restore as he uses an X attack. We miss with the first Struggle, and then we hit with the second one. He hits us with Tackle, which is okay because we can tank that, and we eventually take it down. Now for Weezing, we heal up with a Super Potion, and he uses Self-Destruct, which is okay with this because it instantly gives us a badge. Now we head to the top of the Silco Company in Saffron City to face our rival again. He now has a Pidgeot, but we are level 70 as I did some major training, as I thought it would hit very heavy damage. And we're going to go for Struggle now because I was a little bit sick of using Poison Stings, so I thought, why not just use some Struggles and heal up? I've saved up some money and it will just ease my mind a bit on this journey, as if you do just use Poison Stings with Weedle, you'll start to notice that you start to crack up yourself a little bit. Anyway, we take down a couple of his Pokemon with Struggle. Out comes Alakazam, which again, the main issue with Alakazam is he knows Psychic moves. There, Confusion hit very heavy damage. Later on, Psychic can pretty much take us out in one hit. So you have to work out how much health before you get into the battle with Alakazam to be able to take him down in one hit. So after you take down Alakazam, it's time for his Blastoise. We go to use Struggle, but we hit ourselves. So it's now time to heal up with a Hyper Potion. And then we will go for a Struggle after that, which luckily we hit, as he does use a Bubble and he uses a Withdrawn to raise his defense. But that's okay, we can just keep using Struggle. He doesn't seem to know any powerful moves at the moment. We eventually take him down with 12 HP. Then we can move straight on to Giovanni in the top of the Silco Company. He's going to bring out Nidorino, and we've still got Struggle because we decided just to heal up with potions. And then we go for an X attack after using one Struggle to see how much damage that would do. A second one to bump it up even further, and then we take down his Nidorino. So now for Kangaskhan, which we use one Struggle, nearly takes him out. We use a second Struggle, and then I think it's time to heal up after we gain a level up. No, we actually go for one Struggle, and then we're going to have to heal up. Yeah, so we now heal up, and then he uses Tail Whip with Rhyhorn. We then go for a couple of Struggles to take down Rhyhorn. Now for his Nidoqueen, we hit good damage with one Struggle. She uses Body Slam, a second Struggle takes her down, and we're left with 12 HP again. So we can now head over to Sabrina, which I was a little bit worried about as she is a Psychic gym leader, and we are very weak against Psychic. So we go for an X attack as she hits us with Psybeam to see how much damage that does. We go for another X attack, she hits us with Psybeam, leaving us with 20 HP. So we heal up, and then we're going to go for the attack as she hits us with more heavy damage. We take down Kadabra. Now for Mr. Mime, which I was considering to heal up but just decided to go on the attack. We take it down with 2 as she only uses Barrier. Now for Venomoth, we're just going to use an X attack, hits us with a Psybeam, and then we use another X attack. Leech Life is used, so now we heal up, because if she hits us with a Psychic move, we would go down. Psybeam hits us, and then we go for a Poison Sting. A second Psybeam hits us, and then another Poison Sting takes that down. For Alakazam, we hit very heavy damage. Luckily, she uses a Reflect, and then we finish her off, earning us our Marsh badge. We can now move over to face Blaine on the Cinderbur Isles, as the mansion didn't provide us with too many issues, just having to heal up every now and again. So Growlithe comes out and we can just bump up our stats, as he seems to just use weak moves and use super potions and agility and things like that. So we basically can get ours set up. We then take Growlithe down with one Poison Sting, and now for Ponyta, we go for another Poison Sting, and the second one takes that down. Rapidash is going to come out, which we hit very good damage with a Poison Sting. Then decides to use a Fire Spin on us, which again, like I said, I'm not too worried about, as it gives us a chance to heal up if we need. Arcanine comes out, which I was a little bit worried he was going to use Flamethrower, but he decides to use a Super Potion. We heal up, and he hits us with Ember. We then go for a Poison Sting, which hits good damage. He heals up again. We go for another Poison Sting, as he uses Ember, and then we go for a final poison sting. And we've now finally made it to the last gym leader in Kanto region, Giovanni. He brings out his Rhyhorn as we're going to go for some defenses and some boost of attacks. He uses Fury attack, which basically just traps us, does little minimal damage. It's just annoying because we just got to wait for him to be finished. He then lowers our defense, which is okay because we've got plenty of potions and plenty of X-ups to help us out. He hits us with Stomp and is barely doing anything. We use a Poison Sting, which was the last one we had, just to show you how little damage Poison Sting does compared to Struggle. We take down his Rhyhorn and then we go for his Duck Trio. He then uses Sand Attack on us to lower our defense, but we take it down with one Struggle, so we're alright there. Nidoqueen comes out, which we take down with one Struggle. Nidoking, I can imagine, will also go down in 1 or 2 struggles, but we heal up just in case. We use a struggle and that does take down Nidoking. Now for his final Pokemon, Rhydon. We go for a struggle which hits very little damage as it seems to be quite tanky. We then go for another struggle which hits alright damage. We miss because of that one sand attack, so we decide to heal up. We then go for another struggle, hitting, and he's left with just a little bit of health. And then a final struggle eventually will take him down after we miss for a bit and he misses with other moves. And then we finish him off and we've earned our 8th and final badge. Now we can head back over to Route 22 to face our rival again just before the Poke League. He's trained up a few levels. So level 47 Pidgeot, we know what to do here. We're just going to boost up our defense by 2 or 3 and then we will do the same with our attack. Again 2 or 3 and then we'll go on to our own initial attack. As mainly using wing attack against us, but we can tank quite a bit now. We use a struggle, leaving us with 18 HP, so we decide to heal up, obviously. Uses agility, which is not an issue, and then uses wing attack. We take her down eventually. We also gain a level up. Now comes out Rhyhorn, which we already know will go down in a few struggles, as we can hit much heavier damage, which is why I gave up using the Poison Sting, because it just wouldn't hit enough, and you probably wouldn't end up with enough Poison Stings at the end of it anyway. So Growlithe comes out and that goes down in one struggle. Execute comes down and that goes down in one struggle. And now time for Alakazam, which we just have enough health to take that down in one struggle, which is what I was talking to you about earlier. Now we can heal up for his Blastoise to attempt to do some good damage with struggle there after we raise our attack one more time up. Hits us with Skull Bash, which does basically nothing. Bite does nothing, and we take it down with a further struggle. So we are now ready for the Poke League, Lorelei being our first opponent. We did a bit of training in the Viridian Road beforehand and we start off at level 79. So Dugong is going to be real easy to take out because it just uses Rest and no other moves. And that's probably because Rest is Psychic and Psychic super effective against Weedle, as everyone knows. So we managed to bump up enough and then it uses Rest to heal up and then we just use our struggles to take down Dugong. Again, I've gone for struggles for Lorelei as Poison Sting just didn't hit very much damage and it just seemed to be, why waste the time? We'll just use up all of our PP and go and face it with struggle, which just seems to be the smarter option. So Cloyster goes down in a few struggles as well. Now for Slowbro, we go for a couple of struggles to take that down. We're left with 7 HP. Water Gun would have taken us down, luckily uses Amnesia. We get to heal up and a final struggle will take down Slowbro. For Jinx, that will go down in one struggle as it's just weak against physical attacks. And we're already on Lapras. So Lorelei went down very easy with struggle. Hits us with Blizzard, which we survive with 1 HP. We heal up with a Hyper Potion and hits us with Blizzard again. We eventually take her down with a further 2 struggles. And that's already ended Lorelei. And we're now level 80. So we can head over to Bruno, which again would have been very annoying if we were going to use Poison Stings. So we use our defenses up, which I think will be 2 defenses and then 4 attacks, as he hits us with Rock Throw that just isn't doing a lot of damage. I'm not sure if this one has Rock Slide. I know on Pokemon Yellow against Caterpie he was using Rock Slide, which was hitting much heavier damage, but I don't think he has it on Gen 1. Anyway, he uses Rage, which is no problem to us because he hits barely anything and we get our attacks in. So we eventually take down his first Onix. For his Hitmonchan, we are going to heal up, obviously, as I reckon we can take it down. He hits us with Counter, and we use 1 struggle, and that takes down Hitmonchan. Now for Hitmonlee, that will also go down in 1 struggle, and we're left with 36 HP. Now it's time for his second Onix, which we heal up with a Hyper Potion. He uses a defense, we go for a struggle, and then he hits us with Rock Throw. We go for, obviously, struggle again, and then he goes into the Rage Trap, which means we've basically won this fight. Eventually we'll use a couple of struggles and that takes down his Onyx. Now for his man chap, which will go down in 2 struggles. He misses with Fisher, and then we take him down. And that's now the end of Bruno. So for the hardest fight in Kanto against Weedle, we are now against Agatha. And this is where we're going to have to use Poison Stings. So I obviously used a Max Ether to recharge my Poison Stings up. And I also found 1 PP up earlier on in the game. So we now have 42 Poison Stings as well. So as you can see that Agatha keeps switching out between the Golbat and the Gengar. It's not too much of an issue, as we do want to get rid of that Golbat before it uses Haze. Because when it does use Haze, as you already know, it will take off all these stat effects. So luckily we managed to get the Golbat out of the way, and it didn't actually use any Haze. So that's good for me because it hasn't affected my stats. So as we get Hypnosis a few times, we wake up and then we go for an X attack. Now I don't want to overly use the X attacks, as I did find for some reason when you use too many X attacks too early on against Agatha, that eventually when you hit with Poison Sting, it just seems to not do any damage. I don't know why, it's just something that must be broken, but I decide to use one attack up every now and again, not all together, because it was just an issue. So eventually, as you can see, we're getting Hypnosis and Confusion, but we eventually take down the Haunter. Now it's time for the first Gengar again, which is alright. We're hitting ourselves, and we do hit ourselves for heavy damage. Luckily, we haven't maxed out with the X attacks, so we can still tank a few of our own hits. Hits us with Nightshade as we go for the Poison Stings again. As you can see, the damage is already starting to do a little bit less, but then again, there's a bit heavier damage after then. Don't know why, it just seems to hit between lower and higher damage. Anyway, we keep using Poison Sting as she keeps using Super Potions. Eventually, we will whittle down this Gengar's health until it is out. And that is 2 of the main issues out. So for Arbok, that's not going to be too much of a problem, as we haven't actually lost any stat effects. Switches out to Gengar to give us a free hit. We then go back to Arbok, which we go for a few more Poison Stings to take that down. And now it's time for the final Gengar, which I couldn't believe it. Took a couple of hours to get to this stage. I also gave up trying at level 80 and just used all the rare candies, which is why you can see the increased level from 89. So again, I've said before challenge, a guy called Jake McCauley did do a Weedle challenge ages ago now, and he managed to do it with a level 81 Weedle, which is very impressive. I couldn't stomach it and just decided to use my rare candies. Anyway, we head over to Lance to face the final member of the Elite Four. He brings out his Gyarados, as we're going to go for the same bump ups, which will be the defenses, and then it will be the attacks. And obviously we haven't got Struggle right this moment, I don't believe, as we've still got a few Poison Stings left over, but that's not an issue. He hits us with Hyper Beam, which means we get to heal up with Hyper Potion, and then we get a couple of attacks free there. His Hydro Potion doesn't actually hit that much damage for some reason. We eventually take down his Gyarados. Now for his Dragonaires, they basically mainly use Agility, so we can take that down with 2 Poison Stings. His second Dragonair comes out, which again uses Agility, so that goes down in 2 Poison Stings. Now for his Aerodactyl, which we are almost close to running out of our Poison Stings. So eventually we use our last Poison Sting, and we're now onto Struggle, as he hits us with a Hyper Beam, so he has to recharge up, and we hit good damage with Struggle. He then heals up with a Hyper Potion, so we do the same thing, and then he recharges up, I think, or something like that. Anyway, we go to use a Struggle again after we use an X attack to bump up our attack again, and then we eventually get our Struggles in, and we take down the Aerodactyl. Now for his final Pokemon, Dragonite. We go for Struggle, which hits very good damage. He uses Agility, a second Struggle takes Dragonite out, and that's the end of Lance. So we are finally here at our last battle with Eastside, our rival. Okay, it's been a long journey. Let's crack on with this last battle. So Pidgeot comes out, and we're going to go for the X defenses and the X defense attacks as usual. We bump up twice and then bump up 4 times as he hits us with Wing Attack. Now, Sky Attack can actually take us out with 1 if he got a critical. So luckily he uses Mirror Move and not Sky Attack again, and we are now ready to use our Struggles. So as he's charging up for another Sky Attack, we bump up our attack because he misses, and then we go for a final Struggle, and that takes down his Pidgeot. For Alakazam, we have enough health just to take it out with 1 Struggle, which is good, as that could be an issue with taking us out with 1 Psychic. Now for his Rhydon, which uses Horn Drill, which misses, so we get to use a Struggle, and then we can heal up. He then traps us with Fury Attack, which basically does nothing. We go for another Struggle to hit good damage as he lowers our defense, and then a final 2 Struggles will take down his Rhydon. Now it's time for his Arcanine, which will go down in 1 Struggle, and then we're left with 44 HP, so we're going to have to heal up. And now his Exetor can use Hypnosis, which when does hit is very annoying, but luckily he misses and we get a final struggle to take that down. Now for his Blastoise, which goes down in 2 struggles as he uses a Withdrawn. And that is the end of our rival. We have managed to do this challenge with just a Weedle. It was very difficult in times, and I also needed a couple days away from playing Pokemon because of this challenge. Would I say Weedle was stronger than Caterpie? I would disagree. Weedle is definitely weaker than Caterpie. And would I want to use Weedle again in a challenge? No. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share, and to click on subscribe for new content. Also, join me on Twitter @KaiGenix1 for polls and updates. Become a member to my Discord to help build an active community, or simply comment below. That's all from me, so I'll catch you guys on the next one.